These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Mark Z via PDK comment. They cannot use lower denom notes without RI. It would be an economic disaster. Mark Z says, yes, it would. There is no need for lower denominations unless the big ones have too much value. Frank 26 article quote, observer ending the mission of the United Nations office in Iraq takes Iraq out of Chapter 7. Frank 26 says takes you out of Chapter 7 and puts you in an international basket. Militia Man says Iraq, have been on steroids ever since al-Sudani took office. They allowed him to go to the UN Assembly meeting, then over to Davos. Now the UN is talking about releasing them from UN Chapter 7 sanctions because the mission from the UN is coming to a close. Sampson article quote, politician, the UN and international praise for Sudanese government and its achievements are unprecedented. Pimpy says Iraqi dinar is pegged to the US dollar. If the dollar starts to lose value because the interest rates are being cut, then is this the time for Iraq to depeg away from the dollar? Pimpy says, no, you don't just do it. You have to weigh the pros and cons of it. Yes, I would like to see Iraq depeg from the US dollar, but I also want to make sure they are set up to do so before they do that. Pimpy says, sure, the value of the dollar is going to drop should Iraq depeg itself and be independent and make their own decisions with the possible risk of losing value instead of gaining value. Baby's mom says the dinar will come out at a specific rate on Forex. It will rise for a while based on popularity of hedge funds, etc. Then it will come down in the 5% increments until it reaches a setting point, 25 cents of the Kuwait dinar. Currently, the Kuwait dinar is approximately $3.25. Sandy Ingram says we are not living a pipe dream. The IQD and VND and investments are real. Iraq is a small, wealthy country with gold reserves, oil, and $100 billion in cash reserves. They are making serious effort. It is safe to say that an appreciation of 10 cents or even $1 to 1 Iraqi dinar is not out of the question. Caparoni says sanctions on Iraqi banks for continued money laundering undermines the exchange rate and hurts the spread. Bruce via Wiser Now says we're being told by our Redemption Center people that we are in for a very exciting weekend. Frank 26 question, are they going to put a cap on the dinar if it goes too high? In my opinion, this is an RI, which means they should reinstate the value back to at least $3.22. That's the rate it was at when it was brought down. $3.22 was back in 2003. What is it 21 years later? It's still $3.22. Seems to me there should be at least anywhere from 20% to 30% added to $3.22. Anywhere from $3.86 up to about $4.25 would be a good capping range in my opinion. Militia Man says Iraq is getting praise from the international world, the globe, everyone around the world. 7 of the largest entities on the planet are reaching out. Article quote, the 7 countries, the European Union, the World Bank praised Iraq's government, which with continued commitment to economic reform and stimulation, the private sector and growth. Militia Man says these guys are stoked that Iraq is committed to economic reforms and they're giving credit where it's due. Lastly, Frank 26 says we're in the Venturi effect, a narrow opening, and you're trying to squeeze a lot through it. You know how you put your finger on a hose and you can squirt it much further? That's the Venturi effect. We're having a Venturi effect with Intel.